It is a most extraordinary and perhaps unsettling thought. A magnificent creature of the deep, a gentle giant of our oceans, can meet a rather explosive end. Imagine, if you will, a quiet beach, the waves gently lapping the shore, and the enormous silent body of a deceased whale resting on the sand. Suddenly, with a thunderous roar, the creature bursts apart. This is not a scene from a fictional story. It is a real, albeit rare, natural phenomenon. The image of such a powerful event is hard to forget. It reminds us that even in death, these colossal animals possess an incredible and sometimes dangerous power, a final, dramatic release of energy that really captures our imagination and our curiosity in equal measure. This peculiar event stems from the very biology that makes whales so remarkable in life. These are warm-blooded mammals, just like us, but on a scale that is almost difficult to comprehend. Their bodies are perfectly adapted for the immense pressures and cold temperatures of the deep ocean. A thick layer of blubber, a dense blanket of fat, insulates them, keeping them warm in the frigid waters. This same layer that protects them in life, however, becomes the catalyst for their dramatic posthumous display. It is a perfect container, strong and thick, trapping everything inside long after the whale's heart has stopped beating, setting the stage for a spectacular and messy conclusion. The story of an exploding whale is a lesson in biology, chemistry, and physics, all unfolding on a shoreline. It is a process that begins the moment the whale takes its last breath. The intricate systems that maintained its life shut down one by one. The circulatory system stops pumping blood, the respiratory system stops taking in air, and the great animal falls silent. But deep within its massive frame, a new process begins. A hidden world of microscopic organisms, the bacteria that lived inside the whale all its life, starts a new and frantic chapter of activity. They are the unseen architects of the whale's final explosive farewell. The sight of a beached whale is always a somber occasion, a stark reminder of the mortality of even the grandest of creatures. People gather, drawn by a mix of sadness and awe. They see the immense scale of the animal, its skin weathered by the sea, its great form now still. But what they cannot see is the incredible transformation happening inside. The quiet exterior hides a tumultuous internal environment, a ticking clock counting down to a moment of sudden and shocking release. This is where the true story of the exploding whale begins, not with a bang, but with the quiet work of countless tiny organisms. When a whale dies, its journey is far from over. The internal processes that sustained its enormous body in life cease to function. The heart, a pump powerful enough to move vast quantities of blood, stops its rhythmic beat. The lungs, which once held enough air for deep dives, fall still. Without these vital functions, the whale's internal temperature begins to change. The body's natural defense systems, which once kept bacteria in check, are no longer active. This creates a new and welcoming environment for the trillions of microorganisms that reside within the whale's digestive system. They are about to begin their most important work. These bacteria are essential for the whale's digestion during its life, helping to break down the krill and fish it consumes. After death, however, their role changes dramatically. With no new food coming in and no systems to regulate them, their population grows at an incredible rate. They begin to decompose the whale's internal organs and tissues from the inside out. This process of decomposition is a natural part of the life cycle, returning nutrients to the ecosystem. But inside the sealed chamber of a whale's body, this process has some very powerful and explosive consequences that are quite unique in the animal kingdom. As the bacteria break down the whale's insides, they produce a variety of gases. The most significant of these is methane, the same gas we associate with natural gas and swamps. They also produce other gases such as hydrogen sulfide, which has a very strong and unpleasant smell, often described as rotten eggs. These gases begin to fill the whale's body cavity. Because the whale's skin and blubber are so incredibly tough and thick, these gases have nowhere to escape. It is like inflating a balloon made of incredibly strong leather. The pressure starts to build, slowly but relentlessly, turning the deceased animal into a giant biological pressure vessel. The thick layer of blubber, which was so crucial for insulation in the cold ocean, now serves a different purpose. It acts as a nearly impenetrable container, trapping the heat from the decomposition process inside. This trapped heat accelerates the bacterial activity, causing them to produce gas even faster. The whale's body begins to swell, its shape becoming distorted and bloated. It is a silent, slow-motion inflation. Every hour that passes, more gas is produced, and the pressure inside the massive carcass increases, pushing against the tough skin and blubber, searching for any weak point to escape. The process can be compared to a bottle of fizzy drink that has been shaken vigorously. The pressure inside the bottle builds up, pushing against the cap. In the case of the whale, the body cavity is the bottle, and the ever-increasing volume of decomposition gases is the fizz. The whale's skin and blubber act as the cap, holding everything in. However, unlike a bottle cap, the whale's hide is not designed to be opened. As the internal pressure mounts, it stretches the skin to its absolute limit. The animal, which was once sleek and powerful, now looks like a grotesque, overinflated balloon, a testament to the powerful forces at work within. This immense pressure needs to find a way out. Any small cut or weak spot in the whale's skin can become the point of failure. Sometimes the pressure can become so great that the body simply cannot contain it any longer. The skin ruptures, and the result is a sudden, violent, and incredibly messy explosion. The force of the escaping gas can send blubber, organs, and other internal parts flying through the air for dozens of meters. It is a shocking spectacle, a dramatic release of the energy that has been building up for days or even weeks. This is the moment the whale truly explodes. The timing of such an event is unpredictable. It depends on several factors, including the size of the whale, the ambient temperature, and whether the skin has been damaged by scavengers or contact with rocks. In warmer climates, the decomposition process happens much faster, leading to a quicker buildup of gas and a higher likelihood of an explosion. A larger whale has more internal matter to decompose and therefore produces a greater volume of gas, increasing the potential for a more powerful burst. It is a complex interplay of biological and environmental factors that leads to this dramatic conclusion. For this reason, scientists and officials who deal with beached whales must be extremely careful. Approaching a bloated whale carcass is a dangerous task. Experts often try to prevent a spontaneous explosion by performing a controlled release of the gas. They will carefully make a small, precise incision in the carcass to allow the trapped gases to escape slowly and safely. This procedure, known as a necropsy, must be done with great caution, as even a small mistake could trigger the very explosion they are trying to prevent. It is a delicate operation, requiring a deep understanding of the pressures at play. Perhaps the most famous example of this phenomenon occurred in November 1970, in Florence, Oregon, in the United States. A massive sperm whale, weighing 8 tons, washed ashore. The local authorities were faced with a difficult problem: how to dispose of this enormous carcass. They decided on a rather unusual solution. They chose to use dynamite, hoping to blow the whale into small pieces that could be easily cleared away by scavengers like seagulls. They believed this would be a quick and effective way to handle the situation, a simple fix for a very large problem. The plan, however, did not go as expected. The amount of dynamite used was far too much. Instead of disintegrating the whale into small, manageable bits, the explosion sent huge chunks of blubber flying through the air. One piece, the size of a coffee table, soared through the sky and crushed the roof of a nearby car. The beach was showered with a rain of blubber and whale tissue, sending horrified spectators running for cover. The event became a legendary tale of public works gone wrong, a comical yet cautionary story that is still told today. This famous incident in Oregon teaches us an important lesson about respecting nature, even in death. It highlights the dangers of underestimating the unique biology of these incredible animals. The officials in Oregon did not fully appreciate the structure of the whale's body or the powerful forces contained within it. Their attempt at a quick solution created a much bigger, messier, and more dangerous problem. Today, authorities have learned from such mistakes. When a whale washes ashore, the response is now much more scientific and cautious, focused on safety and environmental responsibility. Understanding why whales explode is more than just solving a curious mystery. It is important for public safety, as the Oregon event clearly showed. It is also vital for conservation efforts. Studying deceased whales provides scientists with valuable information about their health, diet, and the threats they face in the ocean, such as pollution or ship strikes. By handling these situations correctly, we can learn from these gentle giants and work to protect the living populations that grace our oceans. The explosive end of one whale can, in its own strange way, contribute to the survival of its entire species.